Hello and welcome to episode 5. This episode is brought to you by me and the high horse I rode in on.
Everse Chat.
Welcome back, everybody, and happy Friday. This was originally going to be the first Tropical Paradise podcast where I'm out on the beach podcasting because that's been like my dream lately. But turns out you're not actually supposed to do that on your anniversary vacation. So here I am in my illustrious studio basement, aka my couch, who actually sponsored one of the previous episodes. I believe it was episode 2, so you want to go check that out and see what the couch brought you. But yeah, so today is the first storytime episode. Hopefully I don't ramble too much. It's a pretty funny story, and I hope you all can find a little bit of meaning or something to take away from it. So without further ado, it's story time. All right, so this story, I think this occurred probably about 4 years ago now, something like that. Anyway, our first pharmacy contract was in Houston, and this was with a pharmacy that is no longer in existence, and you will see why. And our job was to manage the pharmacy, hire all the people, and just, run the thing on behalf of somebody who didn't really want to run it, but they wanted to make the money from it. So I go in there and I'm checking out, their financials, their operations, their personnel. And one thing I see is that they're paying this, okay, well, in a pharmacy, you have a pharmacist and you have a pharmacy technician. Pharmacists are highly paid. It depends on the locality, what they get paid, but they're usually in the 100,000 to low 80s in a very rural area with not much going on. So I see that there's this other person, I don't know what they are, getting paid $75,000. And so I go to the owner and I'm like, hey, what is this? Why are we paying this person $75,000? What do they do? They just, all they do is just go around and talk to different doctors and try and drum up business. I'm like, okay, cool. So you have a marketer. You're paying this marketer $75,000, but your pharmacy is in the hole by like $80,000 a year consistently. So is this person worthwhile to keep on? Oh yeah. No, don't touch that person. Don't do anything. So in my mind, I'm like, what's going on? So lo and behold, they had some weird scheme set up where this person, and I am going to change names and identities here. This person was the child of the former owner of this pharmacy. And that former owner they had some deal with their purchase agreement where the new owner agreed to keep the person's daughter on staff at a certain amount, $75,000, in exchange for like a lower fee. Turns out that person wasn't a U.S. citizen, and they got caught, and they were using the daughter to send money back to, I forgot which Central American country it was, but they were using the daughter as a money mule, I guess, to send money from the pharmacy back to the previous owner. So when we found out about that, we weren't too happy because now we were being involved in something that was legally questionable. On top of that, the pharmacist had some weird side hustle where he would send drugs back to his home country, somewhere in Africa. So you had this pharmacy that was just hemorrhaging money that this guy was paying for, mind you. And all this money was going out of the country. It was all over the place. And so, we said, hey, no, we're not doing anything like that. Before we could even get that far, we got one payment on our contract. Before we could get that far, he approaches us. The owner approaches us, actually approached me and said, hey, I need you to fire everybody. And I'm like, okay, even homegirl that's making $75K for going getting sandwiches and sitting there messing up your pharmacy system. It's like, yeah, no, she'll have to sit in on the firings with you. So, I mean, that part kind of sucked. I had just hired a brand new staff. They all worked really well together. It was like a dream team of pharmacy staff. And then not even a week after they got hired, I was forced to fire all these people, and they were so confused. In that one, I kind of broke character, and I told them, hey, this isn't a place you want to work. And truthfully, after I'm done firing you, I'm going to fire myself because I don't want to be anywhere near what's going on here. So that happened. Talked to the owner, and I said, hey, you know what? This isn't for me. Before I could say that, he's like, well, we're going to have to cancel your guys' contract. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine because that's what I was about to tell you. So that's fine. Just so you know, since you are the one that is canceling, you still are due one more payment. There's, if we were to terminate it, it would be immediate. But I see what you have going on here, and anything that comes up, we're going to actually need money to fight this, and it's going to come from you, just because what you're doing here is not right, and I'm not going to extend any bones for somebody that's not not on the up and up. So that turned into a huge legal battle, and it was bizarre. I got calls from the owner's son just saying, hey, well, you're gonna give him a heart attack if you continue trying to sue for the money that we owe you. And those were the words, for the money that we owe you. So we don't want to pay. We know we have to pay. We know we've asked you to do things way beyond what your contract states. Well, not states, but way beyond, the termination date of the contract. So after they asked us to terminate, they still wanted us to make sure that all their, that they were making money, and so on. That's not so much of what I handle. That's more of what my brother handles. So they terminated our contract, asked us to continue working. And then when we asked for money for continuing to work, they said no. So of course that's like the insta lawsuit mix right there. So we almost went to court, and then they ended up settling, simply because their lawyer advised, said, hey, it's probably not a smart idea because of all the things you're doing. So they paid us, and that pharmacy actually got shut down probably like 2 weeks after we settled out of court. But yeah, it's, one thing I did learn from all of that is that Houston is a wild place. The craziest things I've seen have always come out of Houston, whether it's pharmacists, smuggling. Well, it's not smuggling, but diverting drugs, owners diverting drugs. There's always something crazy going on in Houston. And the more that we've expanded to other places outside of Texas, the more that I've seen just the vast difference in how things are handled. And I've come to learn that, as cliche as it is, Texas tends to be really the Wild West. The regulatory spirit there is, go ahead and do it, but don't let us catch you. So go ahead and try and kill people by being stupid, but don't let us catch you, because then we'll have a problem. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's just one of the spaces that we operate in, and we've had to really learn how to protect ourselves. We've now coined the term getting Houstoned, which means you've just been hustled for some long con that someone is playing, and that we've been Houstoned a few times, and it never feels good, because it is really in every sense of the word a play on your confidence in somebody, i.e. conning. But yeah, so that is our story. That is our first story. What I learned from that is that I am really good at writing demand letters. I didn't know that before. I think our attorney got a kick out of it. But yeah, I mean, I also learned to stand your ground. There will always be people that tell you, nope, you're wrong, I'm right. And you can only take that with a grain of salt. You really need to build up your network of people that you trust, that you believe in, that you know will be there for you. And if they are business associates, that their intentions are clear, their motives are clear. The what's in it for me is very clear. One other really funny thing related to this story is that the world of pharmacy is small. So when we started hiring for other people, we started seeing the same pharmacists and the same text pop up on our job search, our job postings, and it's just funny how they would change their experience, but you still knew. As soon as you saw that name come across, you're like, nope, I know what you're doing. Nope, I know what you're doing. Nope, I know what you're doing too. So it is a small world. So cautionary tale for anybody out there applying for jobs. Don't be a liar. It tends to be a very small world, and people do talk. Even though you're not supposed to dissuade somebody from hiring somebody else, there is at some point an ethical duty to say, no, this person will get you into legal trouble. And I find that, a lot of employers tend to listen to other employers. And hey, if someone's going to be nothing but problems, why would you intentionally want to take that person on? It is a risk. So don't be a liar. Don't be a cheater. Don't misrepresent yourself, and don't overextend. If you hire somebody, especially a consultant or somebody that is giving their time in order to help you where you could not help yourself, please respect that. It is not okay to just, take the goodies and run. It isn't, and it catches up with you, because you have people out there like me that don't take kindly to that and that do follow up on it. So that concludes story time. All right, and that concludes story time. Let me know what you thought. Did you have any questions, comments? Could I have handled the situation better? What would you do in that situation? If you were kind of in some weird cartel mafia thing unexpectedly, I would like to know what you would do. So I will look for that in the comments. Also, we are now on iTunes. It took forever for it to get approved by iTunes, but now it's approved by iTunes, so you can go ahead and put that on your playlist. And every Friday, you can hear my lovely voice. All right, well, it's time for me to start shutting up, and I hope that you have a very great Friday and you seize the day. Talk to you later.